Hello, my name is Jerome and welcome to my Kabolite station. Today I'm going to drain the oil out of my Kabolite K963 and hopefully put the same oil back in if dirt doesn't fill up when I do it. And the reason for doing this is when I first received my front end loader, the arm went up kind of slow and it went down kind of slow. But I saw videos online of people's whose were much faster. So the first time I did an oil change on this and refilled the oil, it moved really fast. And about a month ago, I had a problem when I actually took out the whole hydraulic system because I couldn't get air out of the system and found out that my pump was turning backwards. But since it's been working, the bucket has been going up and down slow again. So now I'm going to drain the oil just in case there's some air in there and refill it, and hopefully it works better. Also, I was in the grocery store the other day and I always had trouble with the little tiny needles that come with these syringes I was using to fill the oil. It was difficult to extract the oil up into the syringe and difficult to push it out because the diameter of the needle was so small. While I was in the grocery store, they have marinade needles or turkey basting needles, which are much fatter, and that's what I'm going to use for this. It allows me to suck the oil in easy and to push it out easily. So first thing I'm going to do is I think I'm going to loosen the screw on the bottom. Underneath this crawler, there's a screw specifically here under the oil tank that allows me to drain the oil. It's difficult to see with the angle I have this thing sitting here, but I will get it. There we go. So now that I have the screw out, when I open the reservoir in the top where I add oil, as air goes into the tank, the oil will come out the bottom. And it's coming out. In a previous video I did with my 961 excavator, I mentioned that these pistons should be pushed all the way in when changing your oil so that all of the oil, it will have the minimum amount of oil in it. And that was untrue. And I'll put a photo up to show you why. But to explain it simply, there's a plunger in here. And whether the plunger is moved all the way down, oil is above that plunger, which is what pushed it down, or if the plunger comes all the way to the top, there's oil in the bottom which pushed it to the top. So these cylinders always have oil in them, either at the top or bottom, depending on where the plunger is in it. So in order to get that fluid out of there, if you want to change the maximum amount of fluid, you have to exercise these plungers to get a little more to flow out, which I will do now. Alright, it's got air in there, that's as far as he's going. Okay, so nothing's going to move because now there's air in the system. Enough oil has drained that the pump doesn't have enough to flow. So I'm going to put the screw back into the bottom of this, blinding me, into the bottom of this crawler. turn it a bit so I can see better. This fluid has only been in here less than a month. But I may change it anyway just because it's not a lot of fluid. And I purchased a gallon of the number 32 fluid. So no big reason why I should use the same fluid, especially if it doesn't look as clean as my replacement bottle. So there we go. Alright. So now that I have all the fluid out, it comes time to put some more fluid back in. And let's see what we got here. This is the fluid that's come out after about maybe a little less than a month of using it. And this is the brand new fluid. So there's a slight discoloration. Yeah, so I'll throw that away when I recycle the oil for my car. And I'll put some fresh fluid in here. I'll start with 60. And let me flick this around to show you something that's important to do. When filling up the oil, I'm going to remove this dipstick. It's important to have your cap off or loose to allow extra fluid to come out in case there's too much in the system once I start moving the arms and the hydraulic cylinders. So if that oil comes out, it tends to shoot out. So I always take paper towels or some type of cloth, paper towels mostly because they're disposable, and I cover everything up so that when that happens, it doesn't get all over the inside of my equipment. Looking at my controller, I see that channel 5 is the channel that the pump is on. So what I'm going to do is go to auxiliary channels, and under channel 5 where it says none, I'm going to connect that to, let's say, switch B. Okay, not switch B. I don't like that. Switch C. Because switch C will at least allow me to turn it off. Alright, so go out of here. Go back to monitor. And I see the pump is going in a negative direction. So when I flick this switch, I want it going in a negative direction, and that pump can be running while I put this fluid in. And that way it helps keep the air out of the system. when I was having problems where I couldn't get this work earlier because the pump was turning in reverse, I sent a message to Kabolite and they told me to have the pump running while inserting the fluid, and it should work. Okay, so I turn that off. Alright, think I need more fluid. Let me check the level though, so I don't overfill it. I think it's a little low. I'll put another 10 in. That's it. That's all it wants. So now it's just a matter of there we go. Moving the pistons in and out help to get the air out of the system, so you have to do it several times. Looks like everything's working, and I can't really tell if it's faster or not, but I have a fresh oil change. So that's how you do the oil change on the systems. And if you like what you saw, click like. Other than that, I will give you more tips. Goodbye.